Hey everyone, this is Christian C, and in this module, we're going to talk about anxiety. What is anxiety? Anxiety is lower vibrational energy that affects us on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. Most of us do not need a definition of anxiety, for recently we have experienced it on many levels. Anxiety builds energy blocks and prevents us from being at ease, being calm, being productive, and creative. It's a sense of apprehension and uneasiness that we feel. Anxiety varies in intensity, and anxiety can be akin to panic, panic attacks, paranoia, nervousness, and so forth. For the sake of clarity, I will refer to anxiety as energy blocks so that we can objectify them from a zoomed out point of view and see them as something that we can break away from. This does not mean that I'm diminishing the issue or that I'm clinically diagnosing the issue. Ultimately, it is up to us to truly fix the issue. No doctor or expert can truly fix this for you. They can guide you along the way, but we have the power to truly create inner change within us. We have the power to ascend. And this is something that we have to truly believe with every fiber of our being, that we have the power and will to ascend and overcome any energy blocks, regardless of their intensity and severity. When we give clarity and focus to a certain issue, such as anxiety, we can then calibrate our energy, track the issue, and move our energy beyond those energy blocks. Freud believed that internal conflicts and blocks within oneself were rooted in the past, and especially childhood. Do you feel that your current anxiety is because of an issue that has prolonged from the past? Or is it something that you don't even know where it originated? Can you feel the energy shift as you face moments of anxiety? Knowing the reason why you might get moments of anxiety and even panic attacks is important if it helps you move forward and if it helps your energy move forward. If you have come to the point where you feel you often reloop on negative energy of anxiety, perhaps it's time to shift your energy of duality from the present and ascending towards the future. Cut off past energies and memories if they're not helping you move forward. You will feel it within when the past is still creating energy blocks. You will feel less productive, and you will feel that past memories are something you continue to revert towards. And these aren't usually good memories of the past, but if we work towards this, we can break away from this and create change. These are simple energy blocks that once we know where they are and how they're triggered, we can break them down into smaller blocks, and then we can use any of the negative energy which we cannot completely get rid of as fuel in order to ascend. Begin with a higher self view of focus and clarity in understanding your energy block. And I would suggest labeling anxiety as an energy block so that you can objectify it. When objectifying anxiety, you see it before you, and you can move past a big issue or small issue and see this issue as an object that can be pushed further away from you. Can you will yourself into the now and push that energy block just a little bit away from you? Can you shrink it and make it smaller? The more you exercise these simple actions of energy, it's like working out. They gain strength And ultimately, these energies that you exercise will be powerful enough to go over any energy blocks currently in your way. But should we accept all energies within that we cannot control? When we zoom out, we will feel the answer, and that is be able to accept all energies which you cannot control, even if they emanate from within you. Accepting these energies, such as anxiety, does not mean that you are rolling over and giving up. Knowing when to move past them and knowing when to retreat is okay. It's okay to retreat at times. It's okay to regain your energy. And it's okay to fight them and even ascend, all within its proper time. And know when to zoom in and know when to zoom out. This will really help you in your battle, or more in your connection with anxiety, and allowing those energies to drift away from you. Anxiety symptoms exist on a framework level and on a physical level as well. And further, negative self-talk evokes negative energy that in turn reloops that negative energy of anxiety. Do you overly critique yourself and seek to be a perfectionist? And personally, I know that my hand is up for this one. And the next question is, do you show worry and anxiety as a trait that you picked up from someone, perhaps even inherited? And again, this one, my hand is definitely up to some degree, I should say. So let's gain clarity of where and how your anxiety originated. And here is another interesting question. Do you get overly anxious through negative self-talk towards things that are out of your control? Know your anxiety trigger points. Don't just try to fight this negative energy. Wrestling with anxiety feels like you're wrestling a monkey and you're actually getting beat by it. Don't fight the feeling. It will only make it worse. Instead, allow it and give it room to exist. Accept what it is and what it was meant to be. And I mentioned before, asking this energy block to leave. But how do you do that exactly? Build a narrative or story around who you are, your energy, and your point of view. And also, give the main reason why you no longer need this energy block to be a part of your energy. Say it out loud, perhaps in front of the mirror. Write it down in your journal. Perhaps do a voice or video recording for practice. Begin with a zoomed out higher self view. You see this issue that is coming at you, and you develop the ability to track it way before it gets to you. Develop the skill to know just when it will get there, in what form, and with what intensity. You can develop a predictable measure of what it will be, yet your ego self, zoomed in view, looks out for any unexpected actions or energies that will perhaps come out of nowhere. Within that duality, your higher self gives you all the information and data. It views your anxiety simply as an energy block. Now we have the ability to see it on a macro level, but we simultaneously zoom in to see it from an ego self level as well. What does the ego self do? How does it really go to task on this energy block? It begins to scan and predict things out of the ordinary. It scans for any unpredictabilities. And not from the sense that it becomes emotional or attached to this information that it's getting from these scans. To the contrary, it makes a list of any potential dangers. Instead of using up all of our ego self energy to fight this energy block, we quickly mobilize our energy to have the overall perspective and predictability. On this zoomed in micro level, we could play devil's advocate by taking the list of what can potentially happen and running out various scenarios. Make a list of all possible things that can happen when you're having an anxiety attack. Your what if list can include anything imaginable. Move towards your most feasible prediction of what can happen, the reason why you're having an anxiety attack, and any impending doom that is playing out in your head. Now that you clarified the main issue, this is now what you must move beyond. Knowing is the first step, and then utilizing our dual energy will be how we move beyond it. Not fighting or pretending that your anxiety did not exist or that it would simply go away will allow you to instead use your energy towards this paradox technique that acknowledges this energy block and tracks it. From a zoomed-in point of view, we see energy of anxiety. From a zoomed-out point of view, we see an energy block. This is how we view this issue on both levels. The beauty of this is that your higher self sees your anxiety in abstract form. Therefore, it calls it an energy block to just simply label it and allow it to be in that abstract morph shape as it continues to move. Your higher self acknowledges that this energy block is in a fluid state, meaning that it can change shape, intensity, its energy can move around, and so forth. Yet it is able to track it at all times, which is a powerful move on your part. On an ego self level, we move to not only see it as an energy block or even an undefined blob or something in abstract form. Instead, we move to define it from an ego self energy perspective. So what does this mean? Approaching it from an ego self perspective means that we do not allow our emotions to drive us, since we're gaining further awareness of our ego self. We use our emotional wisdom and improvise to go past our negative energy. We are approaching our anxiety and our energy block on different energy levels, the zoomed out level and the zoomed in level, meaning with the higher self and with the ego self. When we begin to define it, perhaps through a journal or in describing what it is to a friend or even to ourselves, we now give this energy block additional form and shape. As its meaning becomes familiar, we no longer see it as this unknown energy that would appear and disappear within us. In an odd way, we get to know it personally. And what do we do now? From a dual energy perspective, meaning from your ego and your higher self, recognize it, talk to it, tell it that it has served its purpose in creating a shift and change within your energy. Be gracious for its presence and ask it to leave. Allow it to leave. Sometimes it is us that wants such energies to leave, but we do not open the door for it to depart. We keep it inside a room. Ask it to leave. Open the door. Allow the energy to flow out from a zoomed-in ego self perspective. And from a zoomed-out higher self perspective, you visualize it diminishing into a smaller form and leaving. Why does it diminish into a smaller form and into the size of a pebble? Because your ego self is committed in a sincere manner in evolving and no longer accepting this energy block as part of its life. So therefore, your higher self will naturally see this energy block shrink. Visualize your higher self seeing this energy block shrinking and drifting away from the body. When you shrink your energy block but it still remains, zoom in and continue to define it from an ego self perspective. When you feel the pain peaking, zoom out and view it from your higher self. and visualize diminishing it and moving it away from your body. Continue doing this, zooming in and zooming out as this energy block continues to shrink. You can do both of these actions within the said moment, back to back. This is a powerful process that you will be able to master with practice. And this process can be applicable towards any task, challenge, or energy block you're currently facing or will face in the future. I believe that in the future, this concept of zooming in and zooming out will be quite useful with the advent of new technology, perhaps with another name or another form of presenting it. But this is because it is a natural process of how things work within our environment. When it comes to perception, when it comes to understanding and consciousness, it's all constructed and executed in more than just one level.